Welcome to another edition of GRAMMY Pro Buzzin. I'm Daniel Mendoza, and we're here in Las Vegas during EDC week, and we're joined by Seven Lions. Hey, how you doing today?
Good. Glad to be here.
When did you get here?
Just a few hours ago, actually.
A few hours ago?
Yep.
Cool. And you have a busy weekend coming up.
Yeah.
So when are you playing?
Saturday at 9:30.
Saturday at 9:30. What stage?
Stage.
Main stage. Ooh,
yeah. No, I got the nerves for sure.
Very cool. No, you're gonna do great.
Fun. Yeah, I'm excited for sure.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about how you got your start.
Just music in general, I guess. Like the way back would be my dad is a musician, and we always had instruments around the house. So just naturally played in bands in middle school and high school. And then the transition into electronic music was basically wanting to be able to write and compose music without having a band, having to rely on people.
Sure.
So it's kind of where that transition happened.
Cool, very cool. Yeah. So when was it that you transitioned from wanting to be in a band and, rock and roll and to electronic music? And I'm sure that influence is still there.
Oh yeah, definitely still a metalhead at heart, for sure. That transition though really was after high school. Like I played in a band, Del Mar, and I, still really love those guys. But I moved away to college and didn't have a lot of friends, so I spent a lot of time working on music and just hanging out. And I think that's when I really got into it. I got into industrial music around that time too.
Totally.
Went to a bunch of goth clubs in San Francisco, and yeah, that was that.
Nice. So you're talking about you spent a lot of time like making music, and where do you start when you are crafting a song? Do you start with lyrics? Do you start with the composition and the melody?
Melody, for sure. Yeah, and mood. Like I generally know what vibe I want to go for.
Sure.
Sometimes I'll sit down and think like it'll be really cool to have a song that it has this kind of mood and this kind of section that does something like this, and I have a structure in my head. And sometimes I'll like be in the shower and I'll be like, oh, that's a really good melody, and then I'll like get out and just put it down really quick and then go from there. So it's different all the time.
And it's really interesting that you say that it really is fueled by your mood, because I get that totally from the music that you create and that I listen to that's yours. It's very different, but to me it is absolutely mood driven. And I think, lyrically, like the lyrics that get accompanied with it also kind of portray some of that. Like, how do you come up with the lyrics that go with music?
Well, usually I leave the lyrics up to the vocalists, and I kind of help them with, like I have kind of rules almost. Like I don't want anything to be that you can pin down to modern time, I guess. Like I want everything to be timeless to where people can listen to it, 10 years from now and be like, oh man, that song wasn't like this weird phase I went through in 2016. Like I want it to be something that people can really listen to and like for a while. And I think the key to that is to not be too hip and like, so I try to tell them to like, let's be metaphorical and,
Sure.
That's kind of where I go.
Well, and I guess the great thing about that is a great song is a great song is a great song and is going to last that time. Yeah. So when you're working with the vocalist, like how do you work in a collaborative process? Like,
it's always different actually. Like sometimes I'll generally finish a song or get the melody to where I want it, and then I'll send it to a bunch of different people, and then I'll get a bunch of different demos back, and I'll kind of, pick the best one and then go back to that artist. And sometimes they have, like they've done it perfectly, and I'm like, okay, great, let's just, and then other times it's like, there's great things here, let's move them around, let's, try some different things, and it can be a really long process. It's always different.
Yeah, who are some of your favorite collaborators, or who was the process a little easier with?
I think Lights was probably like when she did that Falling Away demo, like it came back and I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Yeah. And then she went in the studio and like did a proper, did it right, and it came back, and that was like the best vocal that I've ever gotten back, and I was just so like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because a lot of the times it's like, there's a lot of things to be done in between time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Very cool. I mean, okay, so we're talking about your music and how it has this emotional feel to it. I mean, I think that also comes through in your sets. and how you interplay with the crowd. Like, what do you do when you're building a set to play a big room or, you know, a different crowd?
Generally, it's the pattern that I kind of have is my songs are more the like resets to where it's a big, long, epic breakdown with a build up, and then I'll go into like, then I just build it up and then drop it back down into one of my own songs and then build it up. And I think if I was to only play my songs and not like DJ, I think my sets would be a little too fluffy and like, you know, mushy. So like I have to strike that balance, and it's taken me a little while to find it, but I think I've got it down. I spend way too much time working on my set though, to be honest. It's like the kind of thing that'll be haunting me up until like after I'm done playing, and I'm like, did I get everything right? Did I pick all the right songs, you know? So yeah, it's a process.
Yeah, absolutely. And the visuals, you know, that accompany your sets is also something that you really take, you know, a lot of initiative with. So tell us about building those.
I have this really great guy, Ian, who comes on the road with me. It's been over a year now, because our first big show together was EDC last year, and we had that big epic LED wall, so it was great. But he had this really cool company that he'd worked with a few times, so we just got in touch with them and told them, you know, we want fantasy landscapes, like make our artwork come to life. And that's basically what we did. And we use a lot of our visuals from music videos that we've done too. So that's mainly where we get all of that stuff.
It sort of ties the experience together a bit.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like there's a lot of generic DJ content out there, musically and visually, and you know, we try and stay away from that for sure.
Cool, very cool. So going back to making the music a little bit, talk about, can you tell us a little bit about what your studio setup looks like, or what your, you know?
Yeah, it's all in the box.
Okay.
I have no analog gear. Once I got this little DSI Mofo synth, which I was like, I'm gonna, you know, make a bunch of fat analog basses, and it's gonna be way better than all my synths. And I plugged it in and messed around with it, and I was like, back in the closet. No offense to DSI Mofo or whatever, but like it's just, for me, soft synths are where it's at. It's just really easy to be creative, and
And you have everything there. Like, I mean, and you can kind of go any direction with it.
And you save the project and pull it back up, and they're all still right there, and you can tweak them all, and you know, you don't print them until you absolutely have to, and it's just really nice. I used Dynaudio BM5As for a long time, and Rocket RP6s before that, and now I'm using the new Pioneer monitors. And I actually wasn't like, I thought Pioneer, cool, you make DJ gear, you're gonna send me some monitors or whatever, and they sent them, and I was pretty stoked. So I've been using those.
Nice. I was just, that kind of blows me away a little bit, because you're a rock and roll band dude that you know, grew up around instruments, and yet you want and do stay in the box, which I think is kind of cool and different.
Well, I do record a lot of acoustic guitar and stuff. So I do have, like, I have 2 condenser mics and just a electric guitar that I bought, and I run it straight in. So like, I don't have any like gear, but I have guitars and stuff that I use a lot.
Nice.
I think one of these days I'll probably just get a snare drum, because just to do some more natural kind of snare stuff.
Totally.
But yeah, that's my whole studio.
Yeah, very
some
cool.
bass traps that I built, and it doesn't look very good, but it works.
Very cool. So let's talk about any upcoming projects that you're really excited about.
Well, basically just released that EP, and I'm probably going to be kind of touring off that for a little bit, and just did a remix for Ferry Corsten and one for Illenium. It just started a collab with Jason Ross, which I haven't told or really talked about yet, so that'll be interesting. He's an up-and-comer on Anjuna Beats, so he's made some really cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm always working on new stuff, but like, it takes so long to come out. I remember telling people about the EP that just came out, like, you know, forever ago, and being like, oh, you know, just a few more months it'll be out. And now I'm just like, hey, you know, I'm working on stuff, it'll come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice, very cool. So it is EDC week, and it is their 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
And you did grow up in California, in Southern California, where it came from. I mean, celebrating 20 years of EDC, and I guess even really the growth of electronic dance music culture.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you think of that?
I guess I look at it as my first year was in 2007, going to EDC and just being in the crowd, and it was super inspiring, and just thinking, you know, how cool would it be, you know, to like, I don't know, just be a part of it. And now being a part of it it's pretty amazing. I'm just really happy to be here doing this for sure.
Yeah.
It's like it's definitely an honor and a responsibility, and I don't know, I'm just stoked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun too. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that, you know, guys like you being able to play out there when you were in the crowd is totally inspiring to the next generation of guys that are coming up.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming by. We really appreciate you taking the time for the interview. This has been another episode of Grammy Pro Buzzin'. We're here in Vegas, and we'll see you soon.